Good morning. Good morning. We really are excited about you being here this morning. Thank you ever so much. I don't know, my AVG tried to protect me from myself. I'm not sure what just happened. Again, welcome to the Morning Report. The Morning Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, 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 and fightbackmediatv.com. We appreciate you being here this morning. It is Monday. It is 87. I'm a little late as it's almost noon. Because being a person of a certain age, I had to run off and deliver a box to the UPS store today. I don't know. I just figured I had to tell you. I want to talk about it a little bit because it's weird to me. Cologuard. Listen, on a serious note. On a serious note, though, if you are a man of a certain age, colon cancer is one of the cancers that you don't have to die from. If caught early, colon cancer is curable. It's entirely 100% curable if caught early enough, just like prostate cancer. If caught early enough, it is curable. You don't have to die from it. You don't have to be sick from it. But what you have to do is catch it in the most early stages. So if it's time for your colonoscopy, get your colonoscopy. If it's time for your DRE, get your DRE. That's a digital rectal exam, not digital like computer, but digital rectal exam. Go ahead and get that done. Do not leave your family and your loved ones because it's gross and embarrassing and you didn't want to do it. Okay. So I had a colonoscopy about 10 years ago, and because of COVID, we didn't schedule another one. So we changed doctors recently, and this doctor suggested that I get the Cologuard thing. So I did that. I'm not going to talk about the particulars of it, but if it's something that you feel comfortable doing, and it's not a big deal. Ask your doctor about it. They can prescribe it. It'll get shipped to the house. You do the do, take it to the UPS store, and it's headed to Wisconsin. At least mine is headed to Wisconsin. I don't know where yours is headed to, but it's headed to Wisconsin. I'm pretty confident that I'm going to be okay. But it's better to know than not know. And from what I understand is if the results are inconclusive, then you'll go ahead and have the procedure, which they gave you that twilight sleepy stuff. Best sleep I have ever had in life. And drinking the stuff was disgusting, but my gut felt so good afterwards. So there's really no downside to any of the process. So without me beating you up about it, let me beat you up about it. Again, if you are a man of a certain age, go ahead and get that done. If you're a woman of a certain age, go ahead and get that done. Life is very short, and the small things we can do to be with our families and to be with our friends just a little bit longer, so we can hug a little bit longer, all worth it. All worth it. All right. A couple of stories today. It's about prison system in New Jersey, my home state, my birth state, I guess is more correct. And the absolute madness going on there. Also, our friend Charlie Crist, who was the Republican governor of Florida. Actually, when I noticed Charlie Crist, like I think he was the commissioner of education or insurance, a Republican, and then he ended up being the Republican governor. And during that, he became an independent, and now he's a Democrat in the House of Representatives of the United States of America. And you're thinking, wow, same guy? Mm-hmm. The same guy. Opportunist? Yeah. Chameleon? Yeah. So we have some audio tape of his visit to Florida, his visit to Tampa, my area, a couple of days ago. And for those of you who are watching the video, I'm going to go ahead and insert those the videos from the Twitter feeds into this part of the video so you can actually see them later, because it's really kind of wild. And for those of you who are listening to the podcast, if you scroll down, you will be able to see that video too. There you go. I'm trying to please everybody. A lot of work trying to please everybody, but I'm up to the task. All right, and also I want to talk about something that's been on my mind recently. The news has come out saying that Republicans are distancing themselves from Donald Trump. Not really, not really. And I'll be happy to tell you why. Listen, I'm gonna take a little break. We'll be back with more of the program right after these messages. All righty. Well, thank you ever so much for spending some time with us today. We appreciate it greatly. Thank you ever so much. My goodness gracious. Uh, well, let's go ahead and get started with this first story, because this is unfortunately typical incredible nonsense. This story was sent to me by my friend my friend Tim Horton, one of my cohorts on the what's that, Porch Talk Radio. Do so much stuff, Porch Talk Radio, and he's producer and been on producer for that show since its inception. Golly, almost 20 years ago now. And I have had some stints on and off the program as a contributor. And Tim and I are friends. He sends me emails every now and again on stories that catch his eye. And this one was interesting. This is from New Jersey, or NJ.com, True Jersey. The headline is part and parcel of the problem. The headline is this: transgender woman who impregnated 2 inmates removed from New Jersey's female prison. If that's not the most jacked up thing that I've seen in a while, I don't know what is. Transgender woman, first of all, who impregnated 2 inmates. Okay, women can't make other women pregnant. Women don't have penises. This is why y'all are messed up. Women don't have penises. If you feel like you're a chick and you want to live like a chick, go right ahead. Tuck it all in, wear the fake boobs, do the makeup, take the hormones, get your, so you don't, grow the facial hair, do the whole thing. But no, as long as you still have a penis and testes and you are producing sperm, you're a dude. That's a reminder that you're a dude. Even if you go into the ladies' room and squat, you're still a dude. Even if you get it cut off and get a wound inserted, a plastic surgery wound to mimic a vagina, you're still a dude. And as long as you have the penis and the testes and are producing sperm, you're a dude. This person impregnated 2 inmates who were in the New Jersey female prison. The story reads this: a transgender inmate who impregnated 2 women while incarcerated at the Edna Mahan Correctional Facility for Women has been moved to a new facility, according to the Department of Corrections. I don't know what his first name is, but he's going by the name of Demi. I'm guessing Demetrius. I don't know. I'm just guessing. He was 27, was transferred to Garden State Youth Correctional Facility, a prison for young adult offenders in Burlington County, last month. Dan Sparaza, a Department of Corrections spokesman, told us. He said that the Department of Correction moved minor to the vulnerable unit at the facility that, again, in the article it said she, I'm going to say he, that he is currently the only transgender freak, it says woman, prisoner on the site. Sarraza said that he could not comment on the Department of Corrections' specific housing actions in Minor's case because of policies around privacy. Okay. According to the Corrections Department, Minor is serving a 30-year sentence for manslaughter and is eligible for parole in 15 years in 2037. Neither he or his attorney could be reached for comment Friday. So I guess your boy thought that, you know what, I'm going to go in as a woman, say I'm transgender, get all the strange I want. Hell, I'm gonna be here 30 years. What I'm gonna do? I guess that's what he thought. I don't know what he thought. I'm just making stuff up. I don't know. But on but a July 5th post on Minor's website. He has a website? It's a website? Dude is in prison for 30 years for manslaughter and it's got a website? It says, but on a July post on Minor's website claims correction officers forcibly removed him from Edna Mahan and beat him during the transfer to Garden State Youth Correctional Facility. The Department of Corrections says it couldn't comment on the allegation, but investigating. The New Jersey Department of Corrections cannot comment on any active investigation, a statement read. The department has a zero tolerance for abuse, and the safety and security of the incarcerated population and the staff are of critical importance. The news of Minor's transfer comes nearly 3 months after New Jersey advanced media reported that Minor impregnated 2 women during consensual sexual relationships. No doubt. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if they were consensual. I mean, once these women found out, oh, my goodness, oh, what are you? Hey, Martha, look what I found here. Okay. To say that, you know, people are suddenly not sexual beings when they're locked up is ignorant and foolish. So it's not surprising. It wouldn't surprise me if they were consensual sexual relationships. It wouldn't surprise me at all. It wouldn't surprise me if it was rape too. Anything's possible behind bars. The revelation grew criticism of state correction officials who have grappled with the allegations that correctional officers sexually abused and exploited prison inmates for the past decade. It's also cast a spotlight on New Jersey's transgender prison policy established following a settlement agreement with the American Civil Liberties Union of New Jersey in June of 2021. The policy stipulated that the DOC, the Department of Corrections, house transgender prisoners according to their gender identity. So if they say that they're a chick, then you got to put them with the rest of the women, no matter what they're packing. The settlement agreement has mandated that the policy remain in place for at least a year. The year ended last month. Too late for those women who are pregnant, and too late for those children who've been created. Sarraza said the Department of Correction continues to operate under the policy agreed upon with the ACLU of New Jersey, but added that the department is currently reviewing the policy for housing transgender incarcerated persons with the intention of implementing minor modifications, like locking up all the people who say they're transgender with other people who say they're transgender and keeping them out of the normal population prisons. He doesn't say that. That's my editor's note. He said decisions related to the incarcerated person's housing, like minors, are made within the parameters of the settlement agreement, which require consideration of gender identity and the health and safety of the individual. Advocates hailed the settlement agreement as necessary reform that moved New Jersey to the forefront of trans rights, along with states like California and Massachusetts that have been implemented policies on how transgender prisoners should be housed and medically treated. The majority of transgender inmates in the United States are housed in prisons according to their gender assigned at birth and are often subjected to violence and harassment. Yeah, because in a prison, it's people who are going to abuse you, unfortunately, if you're different than they are, because that's why they're in prison in the first place. Who didn't see this coming? Raise your hand if you are shocked and surprised somehow. Raise your hand if you are shocked, surprised, and indeed horrified by what has happened here in New Jersey. And they're not telling it, but what's also happened in California and Massachusetts and everywhere else where they've decided that they know more about about how people are built than God does. They know more. They're more advanced. How's it worked out for anybody? It hasn't. Prison is not a safe space. I don't think anybody should be unnecessarily tortured or beat up in prison, or threatened or injured or killed or maimed, especially by guards or people in charge of keeping people safe. Not at all. But not everybody is going to buy off on your gender dysphoria. They're just not. And I know these are harsh words. This is hard saying, but not everybody's going to buy off on your gender dysphoria. Not everybody, like out here where we are, out here is going to just, okay, well, whatever. All right, Mabel. You're Mabel today. We'll just call you Mabel. It's easier than fighting with you. It's easier than fighting with you. We'll just call you Mabel. But in the break room, when you're not here, we don't call you Mabel. In the break room, we call you Barry, because that's who you are. That's what your mom called you. All right. We're gonna take a little break. That's what we're gonna do. We'll take a little break. We'll be back with more of the morning report. Morning Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, 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 and fightbackmediatv.com. We're going to take a little break. We'll be back right after these messages. All right. Again, welcome back. Welcome back. A couple days ago, Charlie Crist, you guys remember Charlie Crist, right? If you've been in Florida any other time, it's hard to not know who Charlie Crist is. And sometimes you wish, golly, I wish I didn't know who this guy was, so I could just ignore him as a clown that he seems to be now. Quick review: when I noticed Charlie Crist, he was commissioner of insurance in Florida, I believe. Now, if I'm incorrect on that part, send me an email at fightbackmedia@gmail.com, fightbackmedia@gmail.com, and let me know that it was something else. It wasn't insurance. I think it was, though. And then he moved on to being governor of the state of Florida as a Republican, and then moved on to being governor who was an independent, as he was being challenged, and then ended up being a Democrat, and ran for U.S. House, and now is in the U.S. House as a Democrat. He is now running for governor again as a Democrat. We knew that was coming. There was no way that wasn't going to happen. And he's running again in the Democrat primary against the Commissioner of Agriculture, Nikki Fried. And I'm going to tell you, he's going to win because two things: he has name recognition, and the Democrat Party of Florida is doing everything they possibly can to push Nikki Fried aside. Let me give you an example here. On the first day of qualifying, what normally happens in like a state race for like governor or something like that, the candidate will go with check in hand, because that's how they qualify. They pay the qualifying fee, and they qualify and they make it sort of an event. They take pictures and blah blah blah. And Chris did that, and Governor DeSantis and others who are running for that office did the very same thing because that's kind of how you do it. And the only person who didn't do that was Nikki Fried. Now we could only guess why. Maybe Nikki Fried did not have the money to qualify yet, or more likely, Nikki Fried was told that she should wait. Maybe she wasn't going to do that because maybe she wasn't going to qualify because maybe she wasn't going to run. Maybe they have her pegged for another slot. Maybe they are have her pegged for like, hey, listen, we'll appoint you lieutenant governor if Charlie wins, and then you can run next time, and Charlie won't run, and you can be governor because she's quite a bit younger. Um, I don't know. I'm guessing they're offering her something because that's kind of how they do it. That's kind of basically that's how political parties work. Inside the party, it's not your turn yet. It's not your turn yet. It's not your turn yet. It's not your turn yet is what you get told a lot. You should wait. You should wait until you're older. You should wait until you're more established. You should wait. Don't wait. Screw that. Don't wait. If you got it in your heart to run, run now. If you have it in your heart to run now, run now. I know you don't have the money. I know you don't have the time. I know. Run now. You may be dead later. You might be. You might be. You might die. People die all the time. And for most people, it's a hell of a surprise. All right, but anyway, so that's what's going on there. Let me they were in Tampa, here in Tampa for an event, a Democrat event, and there was some kerfuffle.
Abortion is a human right. Abortion is a human right. Abortion. Democrats, we call your bluff. Voting blue is not enough. Democrats, we call your bluff. Voting blue is not enough. Democrats, we call your bluff. Voting blue is not enough. Democrats, we call your bluff. Voting blue is not enough.
Do you have comment on what just happened?
Everybody needs help, and I'm here to help.
It says here, and this is an article from the dailymail.co.uk. Daily Mail just loves U.S. politics. They just love U.S. politics because it's probably just fun. DeSantis, the Democrat challenger, Representative Charlie Crist, is chased off by a women's rights rally by an angry liberal protesters, shouting, "Voting blue is not enough. Democrats, we call your bluff." I don't know if all these people on the Democrat side of the aisle, especially the leftist side of the aisle, were middle school cheerleaders. My guess they were, because they're good with that da 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 da. Not really complicated, not really any iambic, pentonic, whatever. No real poetic anything here. It's usually da 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 dee da 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 da. 7 syllables. 7 syllables. So a pro-abortion activist in Florida refused to engage with Democrat gubernatorial hopeful Charlie Crist when he attempted to talk to them. The group was there to protest the conservative event, Moms for Liberty, when they encountered Crist in downtown Tampa. He had been attending the state Democratic convention. The group yelled, "Voting blue is not enough. Democrats, we call your bluff," until they chased him off, made him get in his car and get the heck out. And he said after being chased off, "Everybody needs help. I'm here to help." He looked like, there's a picture that's going to be on the Right Back Media website where he looks like he's just hurt. He's like, he's grabbing his chest like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm just here to help." Yeah. Florida's Democrat gubernatorial candidate received a less than warm welcome from liberal protesters demonstrating against the restrictive abortion laws on Saturday, who chased him off when he attempted to show his support. Pro-abortion protesters shouted over Representative Crist's attempt to speak to them outside of an event in Tampa Saturday, chanting, "Voting blue is not enough. Democrats, we call your bluff." Crist then made his escape from the site of the protest, heading into a waiting car. During his exit, Crist continued to wave and smile. The reaction is really not a good sign for Representative Crist, who is aiming to win the Democrat nomination on August 23rd to take on Governor Ron DeSantis in Florida's gubernatorial election this fall. Many liberals and leftists have complained that Democrats are not doing enough to protect what they call their basic rights and to enact key policies such as student loan relief. They keep promising, oh, yes, we know that you have this degree in women's with a wide study from Vassar, and you spent $750,000 on, and now it is chewing you a new butthole every month. And we said that we would take care of that if you voted for us, and we haven't, and we're not going to, because the reality is that such a bill would have to get through the Senate, which we do not own yet. So the expectation was way up here, and they're delivering is dangling way down here. So there you go. The overturning of Roe v. Wade has pushed many progressives to demand action now and reject Nancy Pelosi and other establishment Dems calls to simply vote blue to fix the problem. As much as I am, and we here at Fight Back Media are 180 degrees the other direction of these people, that they have a point. Simply voting for a Democrat, I mean, they've had since 1972 to do something about Roe v. Wade, to make it so it would take an act of Congress to repeal the law. They did, even after being told by Ruth Bader Ginsburg that that was going to need to happen. A proponent, she would have voted for it. She would have sided with Roe v. Wade. She would have voted in the affirmative. But they didn't. So on Saturday, the pro-abortion group was there to protest the conservative Moms for Liberty organization first national convention being held at the Marriott. At the same time, Florida State Democrat Party convention was being held in the same complex. Wow. Crist, Florida is a purple state, kids. So in the Marriott Hotel was Moms for Liberty and the first national convention of Moms for Liberty. Wow. Crist previously served as the Florida governor between 2007 and 2011. I told you, in 2010, he left the Republican Party and registered as an independent. He joined the Democrat Party in 2012. He is competing against Agricultural Commissioner Nikki Fried for the Democrat nomination. The congressman is leading in most polls. One protester at Saturday's rally held up a sign that read, "One term Ron." That's it. DeSantis is one of the speakers of the convention, along with Senator Rick Scott and former Secretary of Education Betsy DeVos. There you go. So it is the madness. It is the madness. Now, this leads beautifully, because I am incredibly talented, into my next point. There is lots of hubbub on social media, especially, more so than anywhere else, about Republicans distancing themselves from Donald Trump now. I don't believe that's true for 1 minute. What I believe is that when we see things like we just talked about, we know something. We know that what's happening in our nation is bigger than Donald Trump. And like I've said for years, the mainstream media, legacy media, and politicians on the left want to make us think that we can't hold two thoughts in our head at the same time. As much as they rail against binary with people being non-binary, I'm not even sure what that means. Does that mean like or I'm not sure what even that means, but they are quick to give us binary choices. You are with us or you are against us. There isn't any middle with these people. There's no middle. And you can't hold two thoughts in your head at the same time. You can't say, listen, I think that there were problems with the 2020 election. There were problems that need to be addressed. But at this point, we need to really focus on the 2022 elections to make sure that they are as safe and secure as possible and that we get the right people elected into the right offices because now we have the opportunity. As a matter of fact, there are people on the right who don't think that that thought is, they think that's anti-Trump somehow because they have bought the narrative that you are for us or you are against us. To make the 2022 election a referendum on Trump is a trap. I'm going to tell you, it's a trap. Don't do it. Because, again, if the president wins the nomination in 2024, there's a better than not chance that I will vote for him for sure. I'm just going to say that right now. I think he did a great job. I think he did a great job. I think that he governed a lot more conservatively than I was going to give him credit for. It's just, I just had to, you just got to tip your hat and say what's true. I think that he governed a lot more conservatively than I had any hopes for. In that way, I'm a lot like Glenn Beck. I just have to go, I wasn't right. I wasn't right. I was wrong on some things. Some of the opinions, some of the things that happened, I was wrong. He was dead on. So that being said, so I can still be that person, and I can also say, you know what, I'm going to put that over here for a second, over here for a second, not out of sight, but just over here, while I concentrate on the thing that's right in front of me. And the thing that's right in front of me are the 2022 elections. I can't, and I will not make them the same. I will not make the 2022 elections a referendum on Donald Trump, like the left and the legacy media want us to. And you can see, and a lot of Trump supporters, God bless you, are falling into the trap. Every Trump endorsed candidate that wins, it's almost like it's a win for Trump and not a win for that candidate. Every Trump endorsed candidate that loses, it's like it's a loss for Trump. And this is how the media talks about it. It's a loss for Trump, but it's just a loss for that candidate. A lot of these candidates are not ready and run crappy campaigns and get their asses handed to them. Cool. It's part of the process. I have had my handed to me twice. So I know. I get it. Maybe I wasn't ready. Maybe I was tilting at windmills. Whatever. I mean, whatever. And probably a combination of both. I wasn't ready and I was tilting at windmills. And didn't have the support I thought I'd get. Someone came to me afterwards and said, excuse me, Mr. Lawson, I think this is your ass. I'm handing it to you. Yes, both times. So I understand that that's part of the deal. Get it? Not a problem. But these losses are not Trump losses. Trump wasn't on the ballot. And we have to stop letting legacy media put Trump on the ballot in every election. It's a trap. Stay focused on the election at hand. If it's poly purebred versus Natasha, whatever, I don't remember what Natasha Badenoff were they married? I think they were. Boris Badenoff and Natasha, I think they were married. If it's poly purebred versus Natasha Badenoff, it's poly purebred versus Natasha Badenoff. Even if Trump endorses poly purebred, it's not Trump in this election. It's poly purebred's election to win or lose. And we have to stay focused on that election. We have to stay focused on the issues in that election. Now, this requires intelligence, patience, respect for nuance, respect for details, respect for context, and also respect for the people who are actually in the race, who are living and breathing it every day. Not everything is about Donald Trump. Donald Trump lives rent-free in the left's brain and has been living there since 2014. Not everything is about Donald Trump. When we get to that, if we get to that, then we'll have a different conversation, right? If we get to that, we'll deal with that if we get to that. But that's at least 2 years away. Or a year and a half away, depending on when the campaign starts and all that kind of stuff. Okay? Can we do that? We're going to have to. My name is Willie Lawson. This has been the Morning Report for July 18th, 2022, in the year of our Lord. Until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart, take care of yourself. We'll see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.